Hello and welcome to another Grim Darkness Battle Report. Today we are playing Dropfleet Commander again. We have PHR against the Shaltari. So we're doing Mission 1, taking hold. We did roll for it, but seem to have got the pretty standard setup. So we have one cluster here, another cluster here, and then we have our last one over here. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to run through the fleets, and then we will come back with the first activation. Okay, for the Shaltari force, here is the line battle group. We have an Emerald, a Basalt, and 3 Void Gates. Over here we have the Vanguard battle group, that's this one here, 1 Obsidian and 2 Jades. Moving along, we have a Pathfinder group. We have 1 Amber, 2 Topaz, and 2 Amethysts. And then the last group is a line, and this one is 1 Emerald and 3 Void Gates. So that is 9, 9, 9 of Shaltari. Here we have the PHR fleet. Over here we have a Pathfinder battle group, 1 Icarus and 2 Medeas. We have a Vanguard battle group, 1 Hector and 2 Europas. Moving along, we have a line. This is a Ganymede and 2 Andromedas. And then the last one is another line. We have 1 Theseus, 1 Orion, and 2 Pandoras. Just to say that this fleet is under construction. Almost finished, not quite. That's the PHR, 998, I believe the points come to. Alright then, first activation of the game. So, we have 12 for the PHR and 13 for the Shaltari. So we will let the Shaltari go first. Okay, the Shaltari's first activation. So these two, the order was silent running. So these 2 cruisers here have come on. They're in silent running right now. The 2 Void Gates, they did a standard order. They've moved on and gone down a layer. So they are in a low orbit, ready to continue into atmosphere next turn. And that is the end of that activation. Okay, for the first activation of the PHR, this line group, the Theseus, Orion, and 2 Pandoras, they came on, they did max thrust, so they're moving up the board. They did max thrust and moved all of there. They've all now got a minor spike. And that's the end of the PHR activation. Okay, so next activation, time to turn over the cards. So what we have there, 9 for the Shaltari and 12 for the PHR, the Pathfinder and Vanguard groups. So, which one's going to go first? So the PHR are going to go first. PHR for activation, the Vanguard group, the Hector and 2 Europas moved onto the board. The whole group did silent running. And that's the end of that activation. Okay, so this group here, this group of Shaltari, have come onto the board. They did a standard order and they are now in range of this group here because there is a minor spike on this group. So the Amber and both Topaz are going to open fire onto this Theseus. So the Amber is going to fire first. Now it's +2 to lock, so those 2 6s will be hits. 2 saves. So that's 1 damage done to the Theseus so far. So now we have the shots from the 2 Topaz. Again, I believe this is 6s because +2. And that, no 6s. So 1 point of damage was done to the Theseus. Alright, next activation. We have... Oh, throwing it away. The Pathfinder, 7 for the PHR, and 8 the line for the Shaltari. So the Shaltari are going to go first. Okay, the Shaltari activated their line group. So this Emerald mothership came on. 1 Void Gate was went here, another went there, and another went over there. So we have 2 Void Gates for each cluster at the moment. We'll see how that goes moving forward. Now PHR activation. Okay, so the PHR Pathfinder group here, the Icarus and the 2 Medeas came on. They all did standard orders and went down layer. I need to mess with my dials a little bit. and they're going to move over and get into this cluster hopefully next turn. So this whole group is currently in low orbit. That's the end of the PHR activation. Alright then, the last activation. So time to turn over our cards. So 7 for the PHR, 12 for the Shaltari. So the Shaltari are going to go first. Okay, this group of Shaltari ships came on. It was weapons free order, which the Obsidian is going to use. The two Jades here will just be using their standard orders. They're going to fire all of their particle lances into this poor Theseus here. This guy. Now, there is the refill is going to hopefully save me. It is in the way. So now let's see the dice rolls. So this is these are 3 dice, so this is going to be the Obsidian opening fire. It's 5 because it's refilled. So they ran everywhere. But that's 2 6s, which is really disappointing because that's 4 damage just done to my Theseus. Nasty. Alright, and now the 2 Jades. So we have 4 and nothing, so no more, but that's 4 damage done to my Theseus. So I believe he is now crippled. We'll double check and we'll come back with crippling rolls. Okay, so this is the roll on the crippling table for the Theseus. And it is it's running away, the dice is running away. It is a 3, so we're looking at hull. Let's roll again. What happens to the hull? And we get another 3. So this is armor cracked, 2 additional hull points, and the armor value is a +2 modifier for the rest of the game. So that's nasty. He's very close to death, but he will survive and hopefully do some damage in his turn. Come back to you with the PHR activation. Okay, the last PHR group has activated. They have again done max thrust because PHR is slow, and they need to get up the board. So what we've done is they've moved up. They're going to go to this cluster. They've all got spikes, and that is the end of the turn. Something to mention that we forgot to is this group here have their shields up, so they look like a Christmas tree. There will be no deploying of ground assets or fighters this turn, so we're going to move straight on. Another thing to mention, they've all gone down a layer, so they're ready. Okay, so we'll come back at the activation of the next go. First activation of turn 2. Time to flip over the cards. So 12 for the PHR and 13 for the Shaltari. The PHR will be going first. That's the Theseus, Orion and the 2 Pandoras. So this group over here. Get some damage out before that Theseus blows into bits. Okay, come back to you at the end of the activation. Okay, so this battle group here did course change so we could get some good firing angles. So they've now got a major spike. They're going to pour all their fire into the Obsidian because they hate it with a passion over there. So what we're going to do is we're going to roll some dice. So to start with, we have the 2 Pandoras with their burn through. So these are lock free. So that's 2. So they get to go again because it's a burn through. So there's 2 more. And then again. So that's 6. He will get his shields against all of those. And they can't do any more damage there. So that's 6 so far. Now we get 2 from the Orion. These are lock 4. So that's 2 more. So that's 8 damage. Now we get 4 shots from the Theseus. These are the medium caliber batteries. These are again 4s. So that's 1 miss. So that's 11 damage points. Again, it's all going to go on his shields. And now we have 6 more. And these are from the light caliber batteries on the Theseus. These are 5. No, and we get nothing with those. So that's 11 armor saves for the Shaltari player. We're just going to add up the dice and be back for you in a sec. Alright, now we're going to roll the armor saves for the Obsidian. So these are 4 ups, 11 damage altogether. Okay, that looks pretty decent. We got... So, I make that 5 hull gone. 5 hull, which is enough to cripple. We will double check the crippling and then come back to you again. So 5 damage. So the Obsidian has 11 hull, so those 5 damage, that 5 damage has not crippled it. It is still alive. Well, still fine for the moment. A fair amount of damage. Shields are very good. We'll see what happens at the end of the Shaltari's next activation. Okay, so this group here has moved up. They've gone in standard orders. This is the Emerald and the Basalt. They've just moved up a little bit. This void gate is with that group. It's gone down into atmosphere, so it can drop some troops off, as has this one over here. So yes, they're ready to drop some troops. And that is the end of the Shaltari activation. So moving on to the next activation. Alright then, next activation time. So let's see who's going to go first. So 7 for the PHR and 9 for the Shaltari. I think the that's the big group. So yeah, I'm gonna go first with the PHR and see what happens. Okay, so the battle group that activated for the PHR, the Pathfinder one, was his Icarus and the 2 Medeas. We did a standard order, so the Medeas have dropped into atmosphere, ready to deploy PHR elite troops onto the ground. Now the Icarus over here is going to fire its broadside at the Obsidian all the way over here. So the Obsidian has its shields up and has a major spike. So I can see it from 36 inches away. So we get 4 shots. Damage on all 4. So that's 2 points of damage. So 2 armor saves from the Obsidian. It's going to be rolled now. See if it... Alright, so that one cripples it. So we're going to come back with our rolls on the crippling table. Okay, crippling table time for the Obsidian. Just going to hope the dice don't fail me now. Oh, he said I'd roll 1 as well. So that's subsystems. And a 5, which is energy surge. 2 additional points of damage. And the ship may not use any special orders until the energy surge is repaired. So, not too bad, not too bad. Now we'll move on to the next, the Shaltari activation is next. Okay, so this group of Shaltari ships, they have moved up. The cruiser there went weapons free, so it can fire all of its guns. Now the 2 Amethysts are going to open up on my poor Theseus here. So we're going to roll the dice. It's D3 plus 2. So 5 and 4, that is... that's 5 dice plus, so we've got 9 dice that are going to be rolled now. So we'll total those up and be back. Alright then, so 9 dice against my Theseus, lock value 3. These are close action weapons, so I will get point defense against it. Alright, let's total these up. So there's a 2, and all the rest of them are together. So I'm going to roll my point defense, which is a grand total of 2. Fantastic. So how many of these are crits? So that's a crit, that's a crit. So I'm pretty sure my ship is dead no matter what, but we'll roll them anyway. So I get no saves in my point defense. So these 3 are armor saves, so I get my 3 up, which I failed 2 of. So my ship's just taken 2, 4, 6, 7 points of damage. That is a dead Theseus. So we're going to roll to see what happens if it explodes, and we'll be back. Okay, so the Theseus is going to explode. Let's see what happens when it explodes. A 5, so plus 1 because it's a bigger ship. So we have a radiation burst. Let's see how big a distance that goes. 3, so I'm pretty sure that's out of range of everything. We'll double check in a second, but we're pretty sure that is. So we'll move on to the firing of the rest of the Shaltari ships. Okay, this Amber and the 2 Topaz are going to open fire. So what's happening is one side of the Amber and the Topaz is going to shoot my Orion here. So the debris field's in the way, so plus 2 for them, which will be 6 years, I believe. And then the other side is going to open up fire on my Icarus here. So we'll roll the Icarus first. So we get 2 dice for the Topaz. Okay, we're rolling all of them together, never mind. But it's 6s, so that's only 1. Oh no, it's not 6s with these guys. It's 4s, I believe.
3s.
freeze. Alright, cool. So that's 2 crits and 2 normal armor saves. So we'll roll the 2 armor saves. Free up. Fine. So the Icarus has taken 2 critical damage. Right, now we're going to open fire on the Orion. So we have 4 dice. It's 4 dice to start with from the Amber against the Orion. Plus 2, so it'll be 5s. So that's 2. Those are just normal. So we'll take our armor save. So it's 1 point of damage and 1 saved. And now we get 2 dice from the Topaz, again against the Orion. We get 1 5 and a 1. So that's 1 more armor save. I roll over there, but it's a 5, so another point. So that saves it. So 1 point of damage onto the Orion and 2 points of damage onto the Icarus. Alright then, we'll come back to you at the beginning of the next activation. Alright then, next activation, time to turn over. So PHR 7 and it's 12 for the Shaltari. So I think in this case, we are going to let the we'll let the Shaltari go first on this one. We'll let the Shaltari go first, and keep my Ganymede and its Andromedas a little bit out of the line of fire. So we'll come back to you at the end of the Shaltari's movement. Okay, so the Obsidian and the 2, can't remember what they're called now. Jades, the 2 Jades have moved up. We're zoomed in in an attempt to get the radiator out of the shot. They are going to open fire on my Ganymede here. So, time to get some dice together and roll. We get 1 shot each for the Jades. One shot each for the Jades. So we get 2 dice. These are hitting on freeze. They instant crit. So, well, one of those is a skull. One of those is 4 over here. That's a point of damage. Okay, and then we get 2 dice for the Obsidian. Just move some stuff out of the way a sec. These will hit on freeze. That is another 2 damage, because it's 2 damage. So 3 damage done to the Ganymede. It's not enough to cripple it, and that is the end of the Obsidian's go. Okay, so I activated the Ganymede, and it's 2 Andromeda frigates. Yes, that's right. So they've done standard orders, so I do need to remove that spike. They're still in low orbit, which is fine. The Ganymede moved to the side a little bit, so it could get its side broadside, its right-hand broadside onto the Obsidian. So it's upper orbital there, so we get 4 dice. These are 5s. Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. Okay, so that is the moving the ship around now. That is the end of that PHR activation. So we're going to move on to the last activation now. Okay, last activation of turn 2. Here is our cards, and we're going to flip them. So we have 12 for the PHR, the Vanguard group, and 8. Excuse me, can't talk. 8 for the Shaltari, the line group. So who's going to go first? The Shaltari are going to go first. Okay, we'll come back to you at the end of the Shaltari activation. For the Shaltari activation, the Emerald has moved up here, standard orders. One of the Void Gates has dropped into atmosphere and is here. Another Void Gate dropped into atmosphere and is chilling here. And then the last Void Gate dropped into atmosphere there, next to our impenetrable radiator. So, that's the end of the Shaltari. Now we're just at the end of the Shaltari activation. So we're going to do the last PHR one, which is the group here, and then we'll move on to launch assets. Alright then, the PHR group here has activated. This ship here did active scan, and it active scanned the Obsidian, which I really want dead, if you hadn't already guessed. So that means I can now see it from 36 inches away. So this PHR ship, the Hector, can see it, as can that Europa. And this Europa here is going to open fire on one of the Jades, the Jade on the right. So, to start with, Europa against Jade, we get 3 dice, they hit on 4s, and they've all got the shields up, so it's 4 of armor. So, well, let's hope that doesn't continue like that. So the Europa fails miserably. Now I get 8 shots from the Hector into the Obsidian. These are again on 4s. And that is free. So we now have 3 armor saves from the Obsidian. 4 up, they get to use their shields. See what happens. Please don't roll well. 1 point of damage. Not what I wanted. Okay, and now the last Europa. Gets to open fire. 3 shots again. 4s. Yeah, that's more like it. 3 more armor saves. 3 more armor saves for the Obsidian. It has 2 points of hull left. And is now dead. So we will roll on the explosion chart and hopefully take some little frigates with us. So back in a sec. Right then, I have my sheet here to decide what happens. Hopefully we get distortion bubble and it kills his frigates. But let's see. 1 dice. We get a 1. We get a 1. It burns up and nothing happens. Sad, sad times. No explosions today. Alright, now we're going to move on to the, we're going to roll for initiative and then do the dropships. Right then, it's time to determine initiative for the launch phase. I get a 6 and the, PHR gets a 6 and Shaltari gets a 4. So that means the Shaltari goes first. Come back to you once we've deployed launchers. Alright then, so the end of the launch asset phase, roundup phase has happened. Over here, 1 troop ship was shot down by the Void Gate, so bulk lander I should say. The other one deployed a defense battery of my own. The 2 little Andromedas, I believe, put some bombers on this ship here. We're going to resolve that now. I'll just run you through what else was deployed. Over in this cluster here, the Medeas dropped 2 units of armor, as did the Void Gates. And then moving over here, another bit of armor was dropped from the mothership. So we will resolve, there's fighters on most of the Shaltari ships. We're going to resolve, oh, and these 2 bombers here, apologies, were sent from Icarus and it's just too far away to be used on 1 activation. So it's going to happen next turn. Right, so 4 against this Jade. Let's see what happens. 2 to do any damage. 4 points of damage, so 4 armor saves from the Shaltari player. And 3 have failed, so that's definitely a crit. I believe they have 4 health. So we are going to roll on the crippling table and see what happens. Time to cripple the little Jade. So we roll 1 dice and see what happens. Get a 5. So a 5 adds 2 damage to everything, so that is okay. It's going to die no matter what. Now we roll to see if anything happens on the catastrophic damage table. Somebody told me in the last video there's only things with less than 4 hull points that don't explode. So does the frigate explode? A 4 shredded. So 1 point of hull damage. Anything in range, they can take armor saves. So we'll see what distance that is. It's 6, so that's definitely going to hit the other ship. So roll 1 armor save, please. And we get a 5. So absolutely fine. But that frigate is dead. Okay, that was the end of turn 2. Moving everything. It's looking reasonably even right now. I'm kind of worried with the Shaltari's amount of Void Gates, if I can get some more guys onto the ground. But I think we've got one cruiser each. And 1 frigate dive for the Shaltari. So we'll see what happens at the beginning of turn 3. Right then, start of turn 3. First activation card. What do we have? Oh, if I can pick the damn thing up. Oh, it's a 9 for the Shaltari. And a 12 for the PHR. So who's going to go first? Oh, it's the Shaltari player. How strange. So, we will come back to you at the end of the Shaltari movement. The Shaltari activation, this big battle group here, their Pathfinder battle group has done a standard order and it's moved up and it's got a sight set on my Icarus. This is going to hurt. So the microwave cannons from the 2 Amethysts at the front here. I'm going to go first. So 2d3 plus 4 technically. So we get a 2 and a 4, so that's, you can see that. So that's free, so we have 7 dice in total. Just add them all up. And it is lock free. There's 7 dice. So that looks like 4 to me. So we get point defense 5 from the Icarus. We stop 1, so that's 3 armor saves, which you pass. So absolutely fine. No damage done at all. Now we have both of the Topaz. I've got to keep checking the names, unfortunately. And just moving them referentially closer there. So they have 4 attacks that hit on lock 3 again. So 4 dice, hitting on 3s. So that's 2, no crits, fine, which you can see there. So 2 armor saves from the Icarus. All double 1, 2 damage on the Icarus. I'll add that in a second. Next we have the Basalt, which is going to fire. Before we determined this, it was going to open fire on this Medea here with its right side. So that's 4 dice. They hit on 6s. Nothing. You can just see there. That's nothing. Okay. We're going to have a quick look at other close action weapons, and then we'll come back to you. Alright then, so we're doing the other point defense. So the point defense from the Topazes, that sounds weird, Topazes. Anyway, so we get 4 dice, hitting on 4s. There's a 6, which is 1 crit, and another 4, because my colleague likes to throw dice everywhere. So my 5 point defense again. So I get double 6, which I'll stop the crit with, and then my 1 armor save failed, so that's no point damage. So chuck him down, and now we have the point defense, the close action weapons from the Amber. 3 dice, what's the lock? 4, lock 4. A 6, and the 2 5s. So I get my 5 point defense again. That double 5, so we cancel out the crit. So now I need 2 armor saves for the 5s. And they're both passed. So that is it. So 3 damage on the Icarus in total. I believe they might be crippled. We will double check and come back to you. So the Icarus took some damage last turn, but with the 3 then it was only he's only down to 6, and he has 11 normally, so he's fine, not crippled at all. Now that the activation is finished for the Shaltari, we need to do the bombers on that amethyst. So he does get point defense because he doesn't have his shields up, but 4 dice for the 2 bombers. So that is 2 crits and 2 normal damage, because it's 2s lock 2. So now we get the point defense from the amethyst, which is
6.
A lot.
6.
Which is insane if you ask me. So 1 6 is rolled, and that's it. 5 or 6 with point defense. So you take away 1 damage, so it takes 2 crits and then an armor save. So 1 armor save for the amethyst.
Hitting on 5s.
And he's fine. So it takes 2 damage. We're going to roll on the cripple table and come back to you in a sec. Right, once again, I had to get my reference sheet out. So we will see what happens with this little guy. He's crippled. We roll a 4. So a 4 is hull, anything but a 1, and that little frigate is dead. And we get a 4 again. So he has cracked armor, which is 2 more points of damage, which is a dead frigate. Okay, now we're going to move on to the PHR activation. Okay, this PHR line group has activated, line battle group has activated. They did the standard order, both the Pandoras, so those are the Pandoras, and these are the Andromedas. Gonna forget that a lot. Have moved up and have got that Jade in their front firing arm. They're going to fire their close actions at it as well. And the Theseus is going, the Orion, the Theseus got blown up, is going to fire his broadside onto the Amber. And what we've done is, because it's standard orders, they've lost half a spike, should we say, and they've gone down a level to be on the same level as the Amber. And then, yeah, we're going to open fire on that. So we've got 8 shots from the 8 shots from the Orion into the Amber. 4 is to do any damage. So, the Amber doesn't have its shields up, so sorry, I should have actually shown you the dice before. God. Right, so there's my dice roll. So that's 2 fails, 1 crit, so 1 point of damage, and then 5 armor saves. So 5 saves from there. That is 4 more points of damage. So 5 damage in total. How much hull does that have? Time to quickly grab the
9.
9. That ship is crippled. So we'll come back to your crippling result. Crippling damage result time. I have my sheet, the ever important reference sheet. So we will roll 1 dice to see what happens. We get a 1 subsystem. Oh, sorry. Need to aim the camera at the dice. So we get a 1. So if we get energy surge, it's pretty bad. Fire, not so bad. Right. We get a 3. So that's a fire. So 1 point of damage in each round of phase unless the fire is put out. Again. So that's that. Now we'll move on to the rest of the battle group shooting. Alright then, so the Pandora's going to fire now. I've realised I've made a rookie mistake. I knocked them down a level when I was going to shoot the Amber, but these aren't even going to shoot the Amber, and this guy is in high orbit. So he's probably going to survive, but we'll see what happens. So the supernova lasers are going to fire first. These are 4s now. So I get 1, 5, nothing. So roll this 5 again. And we get a 6, that was bouncing away, so that's 2 damage. And 1 more, nothing. So it's 2 points of damage so far. And then we get the close action weapons. So these are lock I have to check. Lock 4. So they're going to be 5. And we get nothing. So 2 armor saves for the Jade. So 2 points of damage. So once again, we're going to come back with the crippling roll. I'm going to get to remember this crippling table really fast. We have to roll on it all the time. So let's see what happens. So we get a 2, which is subsistence again. So if we get a 5 or a 6, he will die. Anything else and he'll survive, upsettingly. And we get a 6. There we go. So 2 extra points of damage, so it is dead. Now, while we're here, we'll roll and see if it explodes. And we get a 1. So nothing problematic. Okay, that is the PHR activation. We will now move on to the next activation for whoever. Second activation of turn 3. What do we have? So it's the 12 for the PHR. You can just about see that there, and 13 for the Shaltari. The PHR are probably going to go first. See if they can blow some stuff up. Okay, we'll come back to you at the end of the PHR movement. The PHR Vanguard battle group has they've turned slightly, standard order, turned slightly to avoid that field, and they're going to open fire on this Shaltari group here. So to start with, we're going to do this battle group first. We're going to shoot 6 shots into the Amber. These are 4s and above. The Amber currently has 4 hull points left. 4s and above, we can crit, everything like that. So that is 2 crits and 2 normal hits. So we're going to roll 2 of the armor saves. 2 armor saves, see what happens. So I believe those are both fails.
Yes.
So that is a dead ship. Roll on the chart, which I have already prepared because he was going to die. I mean, it was next to me. We're going to roll and see what happens. A 3 plus 1 to be shredded. So anything within distance gains distance 4. Which is 1 ship. So 1 armor save on this guy. There's a 4, which is a fail. So this guy is dead, and we take 1 point on this frigate. Now the next thing is the Hector is going to kill this, the amethyst, because I don't really like those amethysts. And yeah, all the rest of the Shaltari ships are hiding unsilent orders, or they're far too far away for me to properly see them because they have really small signatures. So this amethyst is going to take 8 shots to the face. well, to the side, my broadside. So 4s. So that's 2 crits and 2 armor saves. So not the best, but we'll roll to see the 2 armor saves for the enemy fist. Both are failed. So it is dead. Does it explode? Oh, so that's a radiation burst, which is not nice. Let's see how far. 3 inches. That is not going to hit anything. The Europas are, sorry, the Medeas are in a different orbital layer, so are not affected by this burst. So this ship is also dead. And yeah, so that is the end of the PHR activation. So we'll come back to you for the next activation card draw. Alright, for the Shaltari activation, these ships here, they've done a standard order. They've moved up and they want to kill the Hector because they hate it. They love the Amnifist. There's a few void gates moving around, but nothing really to note. So we're going to start off with we'll do the mothership first. So we get 6 shots, block 4 against the Hector. So that's 1. So armor save for the Hector, 5, absolutely fine. 3 up armor. Now we get 6 from the Basalt. Same kind of thing, block 4, let's see what we get. So that's 1 crit and 3 normal. So 3 armor saves over here. And I pass them all. So we take 1 point of damage on the Hector so far. Now we have the close action, and dice are running away as per normal. Close action from the Basalt against the Hector. 3 dice. 4s again. Nothing. We will do the close action from the mothership as well. You want to hit one of the Europas? You want to hit that one? Cool. Same thing. 3. Just double checking, we should have probably looked at this before, but close action from the mothership. Now please tell us if we're wrong, but as far as I'm aware, close actions with scan range for Shaltari, that means 12 inches. That might be wrong, please tell us in the comments. So 3 dice against the Europa. Nothing, 4's up again. Okay, so 1 point of damage on the Hector, and that is the Shaltari activation over. So we're losing a lot of ships now. Time to see what happens in the next activation. Next activation time. Ready to flip over our cards. Ta-da! So that's 7 for the PHR and 8 for the Shaltari. So I believe the Shaltari ship is just that mothership over there. So yeah, but I'm just going to go first. It doesn't matter massively, but yeah, we'll go first. PHR first. So this was the line group for the PHR, that's the Ganymede and the 2 Andromedas. So we did course change, so these guys go 90, so they are within range to use close action, and then fighters on here. The Ganymede is going to use its broadside against a void gate. I mean, to be honest, it could broadside over there, but we're gonna hit a void gate. Yeah, see if we can kill one. Nothing to bombard over there, so yeah, just the void gate. So to start off with, we will use the close action weapons from 2 Andromedas against this Topaz, I think. Anyway, these are 4s. Wow. So that didn't work. Maybe not try these dice again. They can go away. Oh, never mind. So now it's 4 dice from the broadside against the void gate. This is 6s. See what happens. We get 1 6. 1 6. So armor save for the void gate. I believe it's 5. Let me get this away. And you rolled a 5. So that is the end of that activation. So now it's the Shaltari's turn. For the Shaltari activation, the mothership is come over to try and put some damage onto the Hector. So we have 6 dice from its normal guns. These are hitting on 4s. So that is a crit and 2 normal. So we will take 2 normal armor saves. And we're fine. So 1 point of damage goes onto the Hector. Now it is within close action range, so 2 more dice. Let me just move these out of the way. Hit on 4s. 2. So I get 5 point defense. 5s and 6s. So I get a 6 and I get a 5, which shoots all the little rockets out of the sky. So that's 1 point of damage. Okay, now we're going to move on to the next activation draw. So it's time to draw activation cards. Oh wait, there's not one from the Shaltari side. Oh no, how disappointing. So yeah, I'm going to use my Icarus now and see what happens. So the Icarus and the Medeas, they just did the standard order. They tilt a little bit. So the Icarus is going to open fire with broadside and its close action against this Topaz, I think. So 4 dice on 4s. That's 2. Moving together. 2 there. So now 2 armor saves for the Topaz. So 1 failed and 1 passed. So it takes a point of damage, which is fine. Now I have my close action, my drones. So it's D3 plus 1. So 3 in total. And these are 4s again. No, I lied. These are 3 pluses. So I get 2 crits, which is interesting. So now we have the point defense of the Topaz, which is something like 6.
Yeah, 6.
Okay, 6. So I did 2 crits. So, oh, that is no saves. So 2 more damage. We will come back to you at the critical damage table. So unfortunately, due to some issues with my camera, we lost the footage of the crippling damage roll. But what happened was there was 2 frigates here. One, I rolled a 6, followed by a 6, followed by a 6, followed by another 6. So 1 frigate exploded, and then the other one also got hit, which then crippled it, which then killed it as well. So both of those frigates died. Can my opponent confirm? Just to
Yes. All died.
They
all
both
6s.
exploded. So we did lose the footage, and it was awful. The dice gods favoured me, and they didn't like the Shaltari at the moment. But typically, that's when my camera decided to mess up. So that is now all the activations for turn 3. We're only on turn 3. This 990 point game takes a long time. So we're only on turn 3. We're going to do the launch assets, and then we'll get back to you. Okay, initiative for launch assets. 6 for the PHR, 4 for the Shaltari. So the Shaltari are going to deploy first. Okay, for the launch assets phase, we've just done some rolling already, no point doing on camera. This Ganymede tried to drop people, but the Void Gates killed it, the bolt landers. Over here, there is another tank there. The other tank was killed by the Void Gates, and 2 more tanks for the Shaltari. Now we have to do all the fighters and bombers here. So the bomber attacks from the Shaltari, gonna be a roll. Try not to get them everywhere. These are lock 3. So we've got lots of crits. So that is, well, 6 crits and nothing else, which is nasty. However, I've got 2 sets of fighters there. So I get an extra 10 point defense. So 5s and 6s. This is me throwing the dice everywhere now. And then I also get 5 from the Hector itself. Right. So 1 crit ignored, 2 crit, 3 crit, 4 crits are ignored. So in the end, we take 2 crits, which isn't that bad. There we go. That is the end of the bomber run. 2 more bombers were put on this ship, but they will resolve next turn. Okay, moving on to the turn 4 first activation. Okay, first activation of turn 4, ready to flip the cards. Wow, it's an 8 for the Shaltari, and that's the wrong card. Okay, never mind, that's the 7 for the PHR. I will let the Shaltari can go first. Alright then, so the Emerald class mothership is going to fire on the Hector. So we get 6 shots, 4s to do anything. So that is absolutely nothing, which is a really bad roll. The dice gods have abandoned the Shaltari. The close action is going to go against this Europa. 2 dice, same place. 4s, nothing as well. that's really bad. So it seems like the Shaltari have lost the will to fight. Move on to the PHR activation. Okay, the PHR activation. So this is the Icarus and the Medeas. So the Icarus has decided to go weapons free. I do need to add a spike. The Medeas have just done a standard order, so they've turned and shimmied a little bit. They only don't move very far in atmosphere. So the Icarus is going to open fire. Its front gun is going to shoot this ship. Its close action and its side guns are going to shoot that ship there, the Amber. So start with 4 shots into the Amber from the broadside of the Icarus. That is 2 hits. So 2 shield saves. 1 is passed, 1 is saved. So that's 1 point damage. Now the close action is D3 plus 1. I get a 2. That's 2. These hit on freeze. So I get 1 crit and 1 normal. Now they don't get point effect because they have their shields raged. So it's just 2 other saves. 4 ups again. Both are saved, so that's absolutely fine. Now we get 2 shots. The Emerald. 4 ups. 3 and a 4, 1 armor save of a 5 up. Which is passed. So that's it. Not massively eventful. Now we're going to open fire with the guys, my Medeas, into the tanks. So 2 shots against the first set of tanks. 2 points of damage, 2 armor saves, 5 up. There's a 2, so it's dead. The other one's a 3. And the other Medea, a 6 and a 2, 1 5 up armor save. The last tank. And he's dead. So both tanks are dead, bombarded into the dust once again. Okay, so now we'll come back to you at the end of the next activation. Next activation then, everybody. Time to flip. 12 for the PHR and 13 for the Shaltari. The PHR will be going first. So the Vanguard battle group did a standard order. They've moved a little bit, so they now have they're on the same level as these 3. They have no spikes currently. The 2 Europas are going to fire their broadside into the Amber. So it's 4s. They get 6 dice. Crits don't matter because there's shields. So that is a whopping 6 armor saves. So 6 4 ups from the Shaltari. So that's 4 damage points, which cripples the ship.
Yes.
So that's a crippled ship. We are going to do a close action against that, but we'll roll the crippling first, which I think is how you do it. Let us know in the comments if that's wrong. So we'll come back with a crippling roll. Crippling result for the Amber then. What do we roll? Oh, 1. So, subsystems. Roll again. A 3. Fire. That ship is on fire. That's not too bad. Okay, we will mark that down. We're just going to continue, and we are going to do the close action. So we get 4 dice from the Europas. These are 4 pluses. That's 1. So 1 armor save for the Amber, sorry, which is a fail. So it's lost another point of hull. Now what we're going to do is you can choose to your firing battle group by battle group. As far as I'm aware, once again, please tell us if we're wrong. So I'm now going to decide to use my Hector against the same ship. It's going to fire its broadside and its close action. How many hull points has it got left?
4.
I just did 1 more point. So that's he's already lost 4.
3. He's got 3.
3. What we'll do is we'll fire everything against. Yeah, we'll make sure that Amber's dead. We're going to fire everything against the Amber, close action and the broadside. So this is the broadside, 4 up. So that's 4. 4 armor saves for the Amber, please. Let me take my 4. Drop my 4. So 1 more point of damage. So good thing I decided to do the close action. Just got to grab the rules for the close action on a. Sorry, moving the camera about everywhere. D3 plus 1. Oh, great. 2. Freeze. One more armor save, please. A 2, so that's 1 more point of damage. So he has 1 left.
Yes.
One more point left. So hopefully the fire will kill it. Anyway, that's the end of the PHR's activation. So now we move on to the Shaltari. Okay, so what has happened is the Emerald is station keeping and is going to open fire on the Hector. The Amber, with 1 hull point remaining, is going to ram the Hector as well. So we need to roll 1 dice and we need to see, basically, 3 up and I'm in for a word of hurt. 1 or 2 and nothing happens. 6. Ooh, this could be tasty. So it then gets to roll 9 dice with lock free. I do get armor, but any crits are things, as far as I'm aware. And yeah, 3 plus lock. I'll roll them over here. And so, to start with, let's work these out. So that's 3 crits, and that is 5 normal points of damage. So my 5 armor saves, of which I passed 2. So that is 6 points of damage, which will cripple me. That was nasty. 6 points. Okay, and as per always, we're going to come back at the crippling point. Okay, time for the crippling roll. So this is what happens to my Hector. A 5. This is core systems. So if he rolls a 5 or a 6, I am dead. 3. So weapons offline. Oh no, I suffer additional 3 points, which will kill me. So the Hector is dead. Get to roll that dice again, see if I explode. No. Burn up. Nothing special. The skull of nothing. But my Hector has just been destroyed. That was nasty. Okay, and what would you like to fire? So now we have to decide what the Emerald's going to shoot. One of these Ropers?
That one.
Cool, roll your dice. So we get 6 shots from the normal gun, 4 ups. That is 2. 2 over there, no crits, normals, 2 free ups, both passed. There we go. And then close action. One. I get some point defense. Just bear with us a second. Take a look at the pretty ships while I try and find the point defense of a PHR cruiser. No, not cruiser, frigate. We're still not there. 3 point defense. There we go, 5. We get it. Okay, well, I've lost a Hector, which is very sad, but now we're going to move on to the next activation. PHR now have 2 activations, and the Shaltari don't have any. They've used both of those. So we'll see what happens now. So something we forgot, this ship has got bombers on it from last turn. So now I get to roll them because it just has activation. So 2 bombers is 4 dice. And that is 3 armor saves. So 3 shield armor saves. And they're all passed. So there you go, never mind. Right, the next PHR activation will be the Orion and the 2 Pandoras. So we did course change, we moved over. They're going to open fire on this Emerald here. So to start with, they're on the same layer by the way. The 2 shots from the Pandoras. 2 shots, 2 hits, and that's it. So 2 armor saves for the Shaltari. Shield save, so 5 ups, 4 ups, sorry. Fine, how upsetting. And then we have 8 shots from the broadside from the Orion. These are 4s against the same Emerald. So, that was a 4. 5 armor saves for the Emerald. That is 2 failed, so 2 points of damage. Now we're going to move on to the next activation, which will just be the PHR group over here. So it's the last PHR group. We did standard orders, so nothing special there. The Ganymede is going to open fire with 4 shots from its broadside against that mothership. Again, that mothership's got the shields up, so very easy to see. 4 shots, hitting on 4s. 3 armor saves for the Shaltari. 2 failures, so that's now 4 points of hull. Crippled yet?
9 hull points.
So 1 more to cripple it. Okay, now we're going to move into the roundup phase, the launch assets and all of that. Okay, see who wins the initiative. Both rolled a 1. You can't actually see that on this camera, but try again. So 2 for the PHR and 4 for the Shaltari, which ran away. So we'll come back once we've deployed all the assets. So to round up the deployment phase, we dropped 2 Boglanders from there, and the Void Gates killed them both. I dropped 2 strike craft here, and the Void Gates killed them both. The Void Gates dropped 2 tanks, and over here, the Void Gates dropped more tanks. Pretty simple. The Icarus put a couple of bombers on that emerald there. We'll roll for them in a sec. And then these 2, which are the Andromedas, these 2, they put 2 bombers on this emerald, that one there. So that will resolve at the end of the next turn. So 4 shots into that emerald there. Point defense, no point defense because the shields are up. So 4 dice. 4 armor saves. 4 up armor saves on the emerald. Oh, absolutely fine. Okay, cool. Since it's the end of turn 4, we will total up focal points and get back to you in a sec. Alright then everybody, this is the end of turn 4 and the end of the game. So basically the Shaltari have conceded, we decided to call it here. We've lost 2, PHR have lost 2 cruisers, the Shaltari only have their motherships left and the Void Gates obviously. The next 2 turns, both those motherships would have been blown to bits. Ground wise, the Shaltari have this cluster, no doubt there, that's all theirs. They don't have any ships within scan range to get the focal point for this one. Over here, this cluster is contested, but I have more troops down on, I have more points in this sector, shall we say. So yeah, so this one is for the PHR, and I have a ship which can get the focal points for it. And over here, this one is also a PHR sector, and I get the focal points from the Ganymede. So victory to the PHR. It all kind of went downhill for the Shaltari from turn 3. The dice gods definitely decided they didn't like the Shaltari pretty much then. And I mean, you didn't see it on camera, but I rolled 4 6s to kill 2 of their frigates. So the dice gods were with the PHR. Thank you all for watching, if any of you are still actually watching to the end. Yeah, so that's the end of the game. Victory to the PHR. Hopefully next game we will have a different mat, and the models basically should hopefully be fully painted. Although, you know, we'll try. Yeah, so thank you very much for watching, and look forward to more battle reports.